All right, let's move on. Wide receivers. Number one, you're endorsing the Saints-Cowboys as being a shootout. You've got Dez Bryant, number one. I would take Calvin Johnson at the Jets over Dez. I mean, but again, this is
1-2-2-1.
No, Scarlett Johansson is more beautiful than.
Get out of here, Charlize Theron.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So yes, let's keep on moving down the line. Brandon Marshall, Antonio Brown, Jordy Nelson.
Antonio Brown, man, that guy, I'm telling you, unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Not even Dez Bryant or Calvin Johnson sized, but gets it done.
Just fast, great route runner, fantastic hands. Yeah, and Jeremy Maclin, another must start. He's been
every week.
Touchdown every week.
Pointing up every week.
That's what happens when you're the number one wide receiver in a Philadelphia offense. Never, ever doubt Chip Kelly. Don't. He's going to get you fantasy manna from heaven.
Listen, Carrie Williams and anyone else who's grousing in the Philadelphia locker room, shut up, drink your almond butter, blueberry, and
health shake.
Yeah, health shake, right?
Flaxseed. We can just go on.
Right.
As men who are getting old.
Listen, take your probiotics, enjoy your avocado, flaxseed, chia, kale smoothie. Listen to Nickelback and Rihanna and everything else that he gives you on the Spotify warm-up playlist, and get your job done because it's working for everyone else.
Yeah.
Over 30 a game.
Yep.
And they sneak up on you because it's never just like this one quarter. Remember when you used to watch the Rams and the Greatest Show on Turf? It would be like 0-0, and then all of a sudden it would be 28-3.
Yeah.
Philadelphia just picks you apart. Like one is a Sproles touchdown, then it's a pass to Jordan Matthews, then it's the bomb to Maclin. Like
you see them with the slow starts. They have the slow starts. Sometimes it takes them a first half as Chip Kelly slowly feels out the defense, and they go into halftime. You're like, the Eagles don't really look right, and they come out after halftime, and it's blitzkrieg.
Right,
it's the same thing that Kelly's Duck teams did too.
He takes the deck of pictures of weird famous people they show from the sideline. He's like, this is not a Scott Baio week. Get me the Jonas Brothers.
Yes.
And they hold it up in the sidelines, and all of a sudden they start scoring.
Let's move on. At number 10, you've got Keenan Allen versus Jacksonville. It's a juicy matchup for the Chargers that we talked about before. Keenan Allen has been a huge disappointment so far this year.
Oh, has he?
Just 2 targets last week. 2 targets.
I don't get it.
I
know he's a little dinged up.
Sure. No more than 55 yards in a game through 3 weeks.
Had Patrick Peterson, week 1.
Yep. Sure.
Week 2, Richard Sherman.
And he did well enough.
Right.
That's his 55-yard week.
And week 3, I mean, are we going to say that it was
2 for 17?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, he didn't draw. What's the name of that cornerback in Buffalo? Stephon Marbury.
I cannot name any Buffalo Bills cornerbacks.
Okay, well, there's one. He went to South Carolina. He's decent, but still, he's not a shutdown cornerback by any stretch. There is no Buffalo cornerback island. I know he was a little dinged up last week, but we might be able to chalk it up to this. We'll look at it. Let's revisit this next week. Maybe last week was much the same way that Joe McKnight did a lot of the scoring for Kansas City, surprisingly, in the Kansas City-Miami game. Maybe last week was Eddie Royal week. There's always one. There's one, and then everyone races to pick him up, and then Allen Hearns it, and that's that.
Yeah. Eddie Royal's good like that, and I that's why I prefer Eddie Royal to just be injured now. It's because Keenan Allen is a smooth, great route running, nice tall target. And here's the thing: you've got Malcolm Floyd as your burner. He's getting whatever long bombs that Phillip Rivers is floating out. Eddie Royal's getting the underneath stuff, that diving towards the corner pylon.
Slotty, slanty stuff.
Antonio Gates has been that big target that's catching the stuff in the red zone. And Keenan Allen, he's the guy who should be getting the balls, and he's not. And it's very, very frustrating for Keenan Allen owners.
And Ladarius Green is like, also I play here.
Yeah, he had 4 for 64, I think, last week.
Finally, at least he came up. But the Keenan Allen thing, as a guy who kept in a keeper league where I was allowed 3, Eddie Lacy, Andre Ellington, and Keenan Allen, many of which I'd gotten off waivers last year, so they were really plum spots. They're all like, it's a bust team right now.
Yeah. So
it's a bummer. But hang in there. If you have these guys, hang in there. Happy days will be here again.
We got to move things along here. Let's see. I'm just going to slide down the rankings here. Because it's all the names that people are going to be playing this week. Your Julian Edelmans, your T.Y. Hiltons are guys that you have to start because everybody's on bye. You have Terrence Williams at number 19. I think that he's a must start this week against New Orleans.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you, and I think it's going to shoot out. even more so in that the weakness in the Saints secondary is that cornerback 2 position. Patrick Robinson was benched. In came Corey White, I think his name is. Corey Graham, Corey somebody. And right now, so far through 3 games, wide receiver 2s are averaging 10.2 fantasy points per game against the Saints. That's standard league. That's not PPR.
And that's a very Terrence Williams kind of day because he scored 2 out of the first 3 games.
Yeah, so I say Terrence Williams, send him up. And number 20, Steve Smith. Really the 20th best?
He said there's going to be blood all over the field when he matches up against Carolina.
He's averaging 6 catches, almost 100 yards per game, and you have him at 20th? He is going to destroy. He is. Let me put it this to you. If I said that Steve Smith was going to get 12 catches for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, would you say no, he definitely wouldn't?
Yes. There's 0 chance he's going to get 12 catches for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I wouldn't rule it out. He is angry. He hates the Panthers. He's powered. He is powered solely by anger and revenge.
I know. I understand that he actually puts up an antenna that like feeds off of all the world's anger and hate. He's a miserable human being. He's a miserable human, and if he barges through the studio right now and treats me like Jim Rome and he's Jim Everett and just throws me to the ground for calling him Chris, fine. But at the end of the day, is he going to put up really solid wide receiver 2 numbers this week? Sure. That's why I have him as number 20 in a 12-team league. You're starting 2 wide receivers.
I think he's. I don't want to say a sure thing, but I think that the most obvious conclusion from what we've seen so far in the Ravens offense through 3 games and what he's stated he intends to do to the Panthers, I would think that he's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown at least.
He's going to play the whole, we're going to come out there and punch him in the mouth. Well, what if Carolina's we got embarrassed on Sunday Night Football last week, so we're going to come out and kick you in the junk.
I would love to see that, frankly.
I would too. You know what I would rather see than Carolina-Baltimore? Just a 3-hour fight.
Don't get me wrong. I would happily, I'm saying all these great things about Steve Smith. What I would much rather see is the Ravens get pummeled by the Panthers.
By an angry Carolina team.
That would be great.
I would rather than watch Carolina-Baltimore, if there were a channel on my cable called Polish Bar Brawls, I would watch that before I would watch Carolina-Baltimore. That said, good luck, Steve Smith.
We need to move on from wide receivers in just a minute, but first, what are your thoughts on who do you like as a sleeper this week?
My sleepers this week. Well, you always have the surprising and very productive number 1 receiver for the Carolina Panthers, Kelvin Benjamin.
Yeah.
Last week, 8 for $115 and a touch. Could have had 2 touchdowns, but dropped a little 20-yard action there. Doesn't have the steadiest of hands yet, which is unfortunate. But the 6'5" target out of Florida State, the Noles, national champs, number 1 target of Cam Newton and Derek Anderson whenever he comes in. It's not funny. It's not funny. He's getting it done. Baltimore has the cornerbacks with some size that I think could match up with him a little bit this week.
Ladarius Webb is healthy again.
Right. Jimmy Smith, he's playing angry too. The whole Baltimore team's going to play on Steve Smith's rage fumes. But I think he's pretty good. And also, Deshaun Jackson, welcome back to Fantasy Relevance. It was nice to see you last week. We'll see if he's playing on the kind of hate-fueled touchdown power he had against Philadelphia. And Jordan Matthews, look at you.
Yeah.
The Jordan Matthews band.
I think, again, we saw what's going to be kind of a ceiling for him for a while. He's more likely to have just 2 catches than he is to have 2 touchdowns again. But I
could see a 5 for. I mean, it's a spread and go get him kind of offense. I mean, some weeks it's going to be Zach Ertz, some weeks it's going to be Jordan Matthews. Riley Cooper has just played his way out of it.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time before we're seeing a lot better numbers for. Actually, before we see him get more targets than Riley Cooper straight up.
I thought you were going to say it's only a matter of time before we see Riley Cooper asking you, is that going to be it at the counter at Circle K?
That would be nice. He certainly has the haircut for it.
He does, and the sleeveless flannel.
Yeah. Here's a deep pull for you for people who are really looking to bolster their bye week shredded lineups. Allen Robinson of the Jaguars, almost certainly available to you on the as a free agent. Started over Allen Hurns last week, played 70% of snaps, 7 for 79 on 10 targets. Jaguars are going to be throwing it. Blake Bortles is going to be on the run. Already has a connection with this guy. Sure, start him.
But what about now? A lot of people, I noticed there was a lot of waiver release and availability for Cecil Shorts III. Cecil Shorts the second, still unavailable.
Yeah.
Cecil Shorts the third. It's hard to say that too. I sound like Cindy Brady.
Again,
Cecil.
this whole like Cecil Shorts the third thing, Steve Smith Sr. Hey, listen, there isn't. You were Steve Smith the entire time. The Giants had a Steve Smith.
Yep.
And now, like,
Yep.
you're on a new team, you're senior. No, you're still Steve Smith. Same thing with you, Cecil Shorts. There's no Cecil Shorts the second. There's no other Cecil Shorts. You're just Cecil Shorts. I've had enough of it. I've had enough, Nick.
I think that bite's going to go mainstream.
Thanks.
I like that.